Have you ever thought that it is nearly impossible for you to save because you are just trying to get by with your low salary? Let me tell you something. Regardless of what you feel or what you've been told about your financial status right now, you can always find ways to start saving money. It may be hard for a minimum wage earner who's just trying to make ends meet, but it is possible. Saving money has more to do with how you manage your finances rather than how much you are earning. After all, the habit of how you manage your $100 right now will be the same habit of how you will manage your first $1 million in the future. Saving money when you're on a low income takes careful planning, discipline, and consistency. But again, it is possible. The real question here is, are you willing to make it happen? If yes, then in this video, we've pulled together the 5 tips to save money fast with low income. Let's jump in. Tip number 1. Create a visible savings plan and stick on it. Don't just think about saving money. Instead, sit down, get your pen, and start making an actual plan. Thoughts are just thoughts, and unless you act on them, it's useless. So if you want to save money fast, then the first thing you must do is to map out a strong plan. Start by setting a goal of how much you'd like to save, when do you want to achieve it, and what are you saving for particularly. List it all down. After you have mapped out a solid plan, the next thing to do is create a monthly budget. Creating an actual budget gives you a clear picture of where your money goes, which would show you where you might have a chance to save money. And it doesn't matter how small the amount of money you think you can save each month. Starting to save small is a lot better than nothing. Then, once you have your goal and budget, now the next thing to focus on is tracking all of your monthly expenses. Logging every single one of your transactions may seem like too much work, but truthfully, this is one of the most critical factors in saving money fast, especially for low earners. By tracking your expenses, you can ensure that your money is used wisely, and it helps you see your progress on the road to your financial goal. And the best part about tracking your expenses? Most often than not, you'll find wasteful expenses that you can eliminate. For example, by diligently tracking your expenses, you discover that 20% of your income goes to impulse purchases that you thought are just small purchases. But upon adding everything up, it turns out that it is taking a relatively huge amount of your income. With this, the next time you see something that you might spend your money on impulsively, you can pause and examine your financial picture. And that pause, it would allow you to choose between foolish impulse purchase or simply just walking away. Aside from manually writing all your expenses through a notebook, you may also maximize the use of your smartphone by installing expense tracker apps. Among the best apps that you may try are Mint. This is a free app that is best for your overall financial tracking. Good Budget. If you are just new in the field of tracking your expenses and following a budget, this app is perfect for you as it is made exactly for beginners. You Need a Budget. CY.N.A.B. If you want to take your expense tracking and budgeting game seriously, then this app is for you. QuickBooks Online. Do you have a small business? Check this app. Expensify. Similarly, if you want to track your business expenses as well, try this one. Tip number 2. Shop smartly. One of the best ways to save money fast is to shop smartly. What do we mean by shopping smart? First, before you go into a store for any reason, make a list of what you intend to buy and stick to it. A grocery list, for example, will keep your focus on things that you actually need and will allow you to avoid impulse expenses so you could save as much money as possible. Second, if you're low on budget, whenever you think of buying anything non-perishable, consider looking for a used option first. You may have a second thought about this because you might think that buying used things is for desperate, poor, or probably antique hunters only. But guess what? If you are patient and lucky enough, you'll find the best quality deals that are only slightly used or even in new condition. Of course, used goods will inevitably cost less than new ones, so if you are low on budget, consider buying used things for now, and your savings account will thank you later. Third, master the 30-day rule. The 30-day rule simply means that if you are about to make a major purchase, like anything over $20 that isn't absolutely necessary for you to survive the next few days, wait for 30 days before you buy it. After 30 days and you still want it, then buy it. If you no longer want it, then you saved yourself a lot of cash on something that you won't probably use after a few months. Lastly, master the 30-second rule too. Wait, what? Another rule? Yes, because if you want to save money fast, you have to play by the rules. With this 30-second rule, it simply states that if you're about to make any purchase, think for 30 seconds first about why you shouldn't buy it. Do you actually need it? Or do you have something like this at home? Can't you just borrow from your friends? If you begin to have doubts after asking yourself these questions, put the item down. Tip number 3. Cut back food expenses and start meal planning. Do you love food? Who doesn't, right? This is why food can easily be one of your biggest monthly expenses because one cannot simply avoid eating. But the good news is that you can reduce your food budget a whole lot more than people think you can. Eating out is undoubtedly more convenient than cooking your own meals, but if you can stop eating out, you may slash your food bill significantly. In fact, according to a recent study, millennials spend roughly 44% of their budget eating out. Why? For Instagram stories? Oh no. If you're still earning a little and you want to save money fast, stop eating out so much. Let's take a closer look, folks. If you are eating out for lunch from Monday to Friday, you might probably spend $10 per meal, which is a pretty good and decent meal at most dining establishments. Then, this adds up to a total of $50 weekly. In a year, you would spend a total of $2,500 on restaurant food. Now imagine the amount of money you can save if you try to avoid eating out a little. Now, if we have somehow convinced you to try eating out less, you may now consider meal planning with your low income. Here are our best tips. Maximize the use of the internet. There are huge resources online to find simple, healthy, and low-cost recipes. Cook enough for 2 or 3 meals and then just reheat the leftovers. And it can save you up to $1,000 a year. Bring lunch to work. If you are always in a rush in the morning, you can prepare your food the night before. Take the time to plan your meal for a whole week. This will allow you to create and stick to an established list when shopping and can cut back on the number of unnecessary trips to the grocery store. Small expenses can add up when eating out, but small changes in cutting back your food expenses can also make a big difference in your savings. Tip number 4. Start a side hustle. Now, if you feel that even though you've already cut your expenses to the bone and you're sticking to your budget religiously, yet you are still having trouble making ends meet, then it's probably time to consider other sources of income. Aside from your full-time job, you may try a side hustle to create a second income stream that can help you make money fast and kickstart your financial goals. Thanks to the internet, most side hustles can be done now from the comfort of your own home during your spare time. What are you good at? Do you have skills in writing? Or do you know languages other than English? Or maybe you're a tech-savvy person who enjoys helping others. Well, you can easily bring in an additional $500 a month or more with the right hustle that's perfectly suited for your skills. Here are the popular side hustles that you can check out. Freelance writer. Do you have a way with words? Then one of your best bets is freelance writing. According to PayScale, the average salary of a freelance writer is $23.57 per hour. You may try writing for brands' websites, social media posts, articles, or even YouTube scripts like this. There are huge opportunities for beginner freelance writers, so with the right amount of dedication, you can start a new side hustle to help you save money fast, or even kickstart a new career with a higher income. You never know. Virtual assistant. Being a virtual assistant doesn't require a ton of training. In fact, you can simply utilize your existing skills and learn more as you gain more experience. For example, If you already have experience in office administration, then you can offer your service to clients online like busy entrepreneurs who need a hand in organizing their schedules, appointments, and other administrative tasks. And guess what? It pays pretty well too. As a virtual assistant, you can earn anywhere from $10 to $26 an hour. Tutoring. If you're a teacher or simply just someone with a college degree, you can earn money by tutoring kids online. You may focus on tutoring academic subjects, or if you're bilingual, you may also teach English online. Among the platforms that you may check for tutoring gigs are VIP Kid, GoGo Kid, and Course Hero. For online tutors, the average salary is $19.65 per hour. Transcribing. Lastly, if you are not that confident with your skills to provide services on the previously mentioned gigs, then don't worry. You may also try transcribing jobs online. You would simply listen to audio files and transcribe their words to get paid. According to PayScale, an average salary of a transcriber is anywhere from $10 to $28 per hour. Get started with one of these side hustles to make and save money fast. Now, before we proceed to our number one tip, do you have your own money-saving tip for people in a similar situation? Pass it along by writing it in our comments section. Now, into our tip number 5. Tip number 5. Save money in different bank accounts and automate them. Now that we've already mentioned the 4 money-saving tips for low earners, none of these would actually matter if the money that you saved won't find its way into something like a savings account. To make sure that you will not be tempted to dip into your savings account, consider using a different bank account for your savings rather than the account where your salary comes in. To save money fast, you need to separate the money that you need for your daily living expenses and the money that you intend to save. When you have a low income, you want to make sure that every single dollar of your hard-earned money counts, and organizing them into different accounts will help you monitor if everything goes to where it should be. By doing this, it will encourage you to stick with your day-to-day budget while keeping your savings safe from temptation and impulsive purchases. Then, the next thing you must do is automate your savings. Set up a recurring automatic transfer from your main account or the account where your salary comes in into your savings account. Check your online banking platforms, as most banking apps have this automation option nowadays. Or, if you are not that tech-savvy, you can always call your bank to ask for some assistance in setting this up. You don't have to save 40% of your income, but you may set up an automatic transfer of whatever amount you can, since you can always increase it later when you're more confident in saving more. By automating your savings, you are not letting your lack of discipline or forgetfulness wreck your financial goals. Every time you receive your paycheck, a little something goes into your savings account. There you go, the top 5 tips to save money fast with low income. To summarize, tip number 1, create a visible savings plan and stick on it. Tip number 2, shop smartly. Tip number 3, cut back food expenses and start meal planning. Tip number 4, start a side hustle. And lastly, tip number 5, save money in different bank accounts and automate them. Since money doesn't grow on trees, learning, practicing, and being consistent on ways to be a careful spender, smart saver, and wise earner will help you save money fast, even out of a low income. Now, going back to our question earlier, are you willing to make it happen? If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and share.